This video is for anyone who is currently thinking of buying a house or is going through the process of buying a house. These are the top 10 things I wish I would have known. And before we dive in, my name is Lo. I'm new here on YouTube, and I'm still finding exactly my niche, but I'm talking about the things that are going on with my life currently and things that I think you might also be interested in. And if you feel so inclined, please go ahead and like and subscribe this video. It does help out quite a bit. So I've always loved homes, what's on the market, what are the options, what are within certain price expectations. But now being on the flip side of the home buying process and being homeowners now for over 2 years, there are 10 things that I think I wish I would have known at the start of this process, or even just thinking about being a homeowner. So the first thing on my list is HOAs. HOAs stands for homeowners associations, and not every single house will have a homeowners association. However, likely if you're in a townhome, a condo, some single family home developments, there is a homeowners association. With some homeowners associations, they take care of like the lawn, if there is snow removal, and if there's any upkeep that needs to go on within your association. So it even could be anything from, like, with our association, it could be they take care of the siding. Anything externally, they take care of if it's damaged or broken, to maintain consistency amongst the entire association. And with the homeowners association, this is something that I didn't know was going to increase as rapidly as it did. I do think there are some external factors as to why our homeowners association has gone up, and this is due to insurance companies not covering as much as they used to. So then there's more liability or more upkeep on the actual homeowners themselves. With our HOA, being here 2 years, it's gone up quite dramatically. I think the one thing to keep in mind with HOAs is they can go up. The cost of being in an HOA can go up. The second thing I learned from being a homeowner is you're kind of at the mercy of the city and the county on certain projects that they have going around your house. So currently, there is some maintenance upkeep that I think the city is doing around where we live. Since it affects our neighborhood, we are also then responsible with taxes towards paying for these roads. But you're kind of at the mercy of the city and the county for when they decide the maintenance is going to happen, how it's going to happen, and how much it's going to cost. Now, that being said, you can elect your city official, you can talk to your city or county officials, all of that jazz. However, when it's all said and done, I will say they did give us a pretty good advance notice. However, our taxes did go up. And that's just something, again, that I didn't necessarily account for. I should have known proactively that these things would likely happen because there's just natural upkeep of your home. Same with like the roads and the sewer system and all those sorts of things around your house as well. The third thing that I didn't realize with owning a home is pest control. This is another expense that we did not anticipate we were going to need. However, with us being first-time homeowners, the second we realized we had more than one wasp's nest near our house, we called pest control just because we didn't necessarily feel comfortable taking it down just based on the size of the wasp's nest. However, now when we notice them, we feel much more comfortable, and I should say Andrew feels much more comfortable taking down the wasp's nest. But after living in an apartment for so long, I was just so used to anytime I had an issue with any sort of spider, bug, I mean, not that they would like come in and clean up like bugs and all those things, but they would spray for it. But that's like an additional cost that you have for your house. So I would say that was another expense that I wasn't necessarily fully anticipating was going to happen. The next thing YouTube is going to be your best friend. And if you're watching this, that means you're already on YouTube. So again, you're just going to be on it even more. But the amazing thing about that is Andrew and I think if there is any project going on in our house, we're able to YouTube or figure out how to solve the problem. For example, we were taking out an overhead light, like the actual like outlet fixture itself. But there was a whole YouTube video, a whole process with the electrical, everything I walked you through. YouTube will become your new best friend in terms of any renovating. It's always just nice to have it in your back pocket. And here's the thing. I'm always like, we can watch the video, see how taxing or how much it's going to be. And then if we feel like we still don't have the capability or we try getting into it and it doesn't end up working out, then you can bring in an expert. Another lesson that I've learned is once one light bulb goes out, they all go out. It is like clockwork. So when one light goes out, go buy a bulk of light bulb fixtures and just have on hand, because then what's going to happen, like us, is then we have one dim light bulb in the same room as one with a bright light bulb, and it looks wonky. However, just so you know, they are all going to start to go out. This same idea goes with smoke detectors as well as carbon monoxide detectors. Honestly, when we first moved in, we just changed them all. And that was part of our home inspection. The inspector came in and just said, hey, at this point in time, might as well just change all of them out, because they're all going to go out basically relatively soon, since they only last 10 years, or at least the kind that we had only last 10 years. Another item that I have learned since owning a home is PMI is not as scary as I thought it was going to be. I think I had watched so much Dave Ramsey that I actually feared PMI. And I guess I should go back. For context, PMI, I'm forgetting what the acronym stands for, but it's basically insurance on your mortgage. So if you're not able to put 20% down on your home or your townhome or wherever you're buying, it's basically like an insurance policy that if you can't pay your mortgage, this insurance then kind of helps to cover that. I feel like there's quite a bit of debate of whether you should buy a home and just pay the PMI versus having 20% and then buying a home. I think it just depends on the person and the situation. In our case, we did not end up putting the 20% down, and we do have a PMI that we pay. However, it's not that much, but that's also based on how much we did put down. I will say we did put down a good amount, that our PMI is quite low. So, but even that, for a while, that held me back from thinking that I shouldn't even be able to buy a house, which, looking back on it, I'm so glad that we did, because now we're in our home, and we're gaining equity in our home. And that's a personal decision on our part. This is in no way real estate advice, financial advice. This is just how I feel about us being in our home now. PMI is not some big scary thing. I feel very confident, especially now, that as we continue to build equity in our home, that we will reach that 20% point much faster, like being in our home. Because once you reach 20%, then you can go and tell the insurance company, or I think your insurance company or your mortgage company, you can basically go and tell them we've reached 20% of equity in our home, and then that insurance will come off. I feel like it's actually been faster for us to have the PMI on our home and to grow equity and then get that 20% as opposed to waiting. Another thing that I have learned since being a homeowner is I'm so grateful that we listen to the advice of our parents, as well as listen to the advice of our lender of not taking out potentially our full loan amount that we were approved for. when buying a home. I would say we were fairly conservative with how much we actually wanted to take out for our loan, but I'm very grateful that we were as conservative as we were. I think by being more conservative with the loan that we took out, we're still able to save, or we're still able to go on vacation, or we're still able to go out to eat. And it doesn't feel like our home, it doesn't feel like all of our money is going to our mortgage. And another part of this too is when you're talking with your lender, and a good lender, I mean, even before you buy a house, they'll have a full detailed list. But even when you're first starting to look at a home and potentially what your monthly cost could be, a good lender is going to walk you through, this is likely what you're going to be paying if you take out this loan. Next item I have is be strategic about what you update and change in your home. So I think it's good to take a strategic approach to, okay, this is short term that we're going to be here. Let's think about the items that are going to help us with reselling when the time comes. However, then if you're in your long-term home thinking, okay, we're going to be here for X number of years, we see us being here the long term, let's add those personal items to make this really feel like our home. And also going back to that doesn't necessarily mean that if you don't plan on being somewhere for a long amount of time, that it doesn't mean you can't put in those upgrades. There are lots of other ways that you can make a home more personal to you. I think I would rather want to save that money of things that I would want to update here that aren't going to really pay off with reselling towards our next home. The next thing that I've learned is upkeep of your house really isn't that scary. And it actually is very manageable once you know what you have to upkeep and how frequently to do it, and get yourself on a schedule. So for example, we have, obviously there's just the regular maintenance of cleaning, those sorts of things, but there's also making sure there's salt in the water softener, making sure that you're changing out the filters on the fan, those sorts of things. And to be honest, we've just plugged in to our phone reminder updates of when we need to do those things. And again, this goes back to the earlier one with YouTube. If there's ever something that you don't know how to do, or maintenance wise, again, YouTube is going to have so many different videos in terms of how to update this or how to manage this. So YouTube, again, will be your friend. And the last thing I learned with being a homeowner is you do not need to fill your home right away. As tempting as it is to fill your house with all new furniture and all new things, let yourself just naturally live in the space for a little bit and slowly add or collect things. When we first moved in, we didn't have a couch in our main living room, which we did end up buying a couch, but it was okay because we wanted to find the right couch for that space, and it was okay to not have to fill it right away. And it can be very overwhelming too to fill a whole house or condo or townhome, but just know it's okay to not have everything perfectly placed. I feel like even now, sometimes I'll still catch myself being, oh, this is on Pinterest, this is on Instagram. I need to have this perfectly put together place. And those are just in magazines and on social media. And who knows, they might be AI edited. So I think, or they're staged. So I would just say, give yourself grace, and it's okay to not have your space filled perfectly day one. And those are the top 10 things that I have learned since becoming a homeowner. I hope you found them useful, and if you're in your home buying journey, good luck. You're going to find your perfect home. Just give it time. And I really hope you found this video actually digestible and not just what is out there in a bunch of lists, because I know that when I was looking for things that I needed to think about in our home buying journey, or what it would be like to be a homeowner, it gave the same list pretty much over and over again on the internet. So I hope you found this valuable. And if there's anything that you think I've missed, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.